Hello. I wanted to talk about something that I think is often an issue for people when they are feeling stuck in their life, and we tend to just keep going into habits and coping and minimizing what's going on as to who do you turn to when you feel stuck. And one of the things that I feel very strongly about, because of when I hear people that are in trauma or anxiety or have other concerns that are troubling them in their life, that when they go and see a practitioner, often they don't realize that they're not seeing a practitioner who can help them. So it, it's putting aside that you like the practitioner and they might be kind or say some helpful suggestions. Saying helpful suggestions doesn't necessarily mean they can help give you the skills, the mind body skills, to be able to resolve what's going on for you. So it's really important to ask whoever it is that you're considering to see, have they specifically been trained in trauma and abuse? Not even if that's, you might not be going there for what you think is that, but understanding about trauma and how trauma affects the brain and the body, because any experience of overwhelm is experienced in the mind body system as a stress response and trauma. And anything that we feel stuck in and we don't feel resourced, supported, or skilled to be able to negotiate in the system is experienced as trauma, because our flow of instinctual response has been interrupted. So we do need a practitioner to help us with that. And I find time and time again, people are going to see practitioners and they're trying to the practitioner is trying to educate them about how to resolve what's going on, but they're actually not helping them shift out of the stress response via the body and the brain-body connection. And so there is a limited amount of how much we can integrate and use when our system is still in the stress response, because our frontal cortex is shut down and we're not able to process and access the whole brain to have better choices and to have greater energy to focus on what we need to do things differently. So we get in a loop and we get more stressed and we think there's something wrong with us, but it's not you at all. The practitioner's not trained to actually help you, and they're just trying to work on a cognitive level and on a willpower level, and willpower and knowing insights and cognition, logical reasoning doesn't help us be with the involuntary responses of stress or anxiety or trauma. So it's really, really important, no matter what issue you're going to see someone for, that you see someone who has experience in trauma and not just a weekend experience, and no psychology, social work, counselling qualification. They all do, and psychiatry as well, from my understanding and my perspective. None of them address it on a deep level. It's always just very superficial knowledge. I went from my Bachelor of Human Services, which was 3 years and similar to a social work qualification. I went from that and I did 4 years specifically to train to do with trauma and how the brain and the body are affected by stress and trauma, how it shapes our view of ourselves and how we are in the world, as well as developmental trauma. That took years to understand about the defense system, the involuntary defense system, and how to switch it off via the body. And it can, when you understand the complexity of the human psyche, it's actually quite simple to shift out of the trauma and the stress response when you've got the right tools. Because with neuroscience, we know the plasticity of the brain, it can change very quickly. So if your situation is not changing quickly, maybe you're not seeing a practitioner that's got the skills that you need. I just want to emphasize again, you can't, it's not a weekend course. It's a deep process of learning the depth about for the human psyche. But I love that I've been working with this for 25 years now, and I can bring the essence from working on myself, being a client myself, as well as my own personal work, as well as working for 25 years in the field. I know now what is the essentials that people need to be able to move through things fast and get on track and be in charge of their brain and body rather than have the involuntary responses create triggers and reactions and feel quite helpless. So just want to really emphasize, if you're going to see someone, please make sure that you ask them about their experience of studying trauma and abuse. Abuse also because we are all, as a society, have difficulty understanding psychological and emotional abuse and the impact of it. And whether we look on the continuum of abuse on one end or toxic interactions on another, when you be with a practitioner that understands the layers of the layers of and complexities that happen in toxic interactions, it can only help you, because there's some valuable skills there that can mean that your healthy relationships become optimized when you learn from that content. But I'll save more of that for another day. Post any questions or comments. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope this is helpful for you when you go looking for some assistance. Like my channel, click on the bell to be notified when I have something new coming up. And I look forward to sharing some more nuggets of wisdom from my personal and professional experience. Big love to you all.